haven't done it a little bit, but I'll stream doing like carving the blocks.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
And one time
Notification once.
I was like finishing up some for that one I'm working on up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized like when I went to end it that I hadn't actually started it ever.
Oh.
I was like, no. I was like, whatever, nobody watches these, so I don't care. But
I tried watching it on double speed.
Yeah.
But then it's like, do I want to do? Because there's nothing to listen to.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, oh, am I gonna sit here and watch it, or am I gonna like watch Enzo?
Yeah. There's not a whole lot going on. Talking wise. So yeah, it's started now technically.
All right.
Cool.
Nobody's watching though, so.
Yeah.
It's sort of.
But that's not the point, actually.
Sort of like the informality of not having to be like, hello and welcome to. This. Welcome to the podcast.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of it too is like, well, like, it's kind of turned into like a pseudo book club thing.
Yeah.
For Casey and I. And so it's sort of like when I was in school, I'd like keep a blog just to like, not force, but get myself into like drawing more regularly. So it's like, oh, I have to post something. Even though it's like, nobody's looking at this, but I feel like an obligation to like actually do stuff more when I have something like that. And so this is something where it's like, oh, let's read a thing. So it's like motivation to do it.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's like, nobody watches it.
Yeah. Well, the only person who watches it is here now. So now what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now what?
This is awesome.
But yeah. What
should we
what
try?
did you bring?
Yeah, if you guys don't.
Treats
You
with
brought all
Casey.
sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So I made 3 salsas. I've been in experimenting mode.
What are the 3 salsas?
So there's a habanero.
Okay.
Tomato. There's one that's pasilla pepper,
Ooh.
which is the most experimental because it's.
I like pasilla pepper.
Pasilla? Or?
Pasilla.
Oh.
Sorry. This
Okay. That's
that was some.
Spanish?
Yep. That was some.
Spain.
That was some Uruguay right there. Pasilla. I mean, I don't think they even have them down there. I just did the ja.
Yeah. Do they even do spicy food?
No.
No.
No. And then the other one is like basic salsa, but it's like
But
my
it's good.
yeah, it's the one
Good
that I've been
basic
like working
salsa.
on for a while.
Oh, sweet. The tried and true.
Yeah, it's pretty standard.
No, awesome.
But yeah, I thought about I should have brought some milk because the habaneros, it's not horrible, but it's a little spicy.
The closest thing is I have some heavy cream.
All right. In case of emergencies.
I guess I have kefir. I have a decent amount of kefir in there.
What's kefir?
It's like very
yogurt?
drinkable yogurt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just yogurt. It's just.
Yeah.
Okay, I do know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking you okay.
So I use for protein powder instead of milk or water.
Mm.
It turns into like Go-Gurt consistency. It's kind of
Go-Gurt.
pleasant.
We can crunch it. We can crunch a bunch of chips in front of microphones.
Yes.
I
Chip
don't-
ASMR.
That's like I guess it's either an upside or downside of this type of snack for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get or do we want blue paper towels?
Oh.
Shop towels?
Yeah, we got shop towels.
Like, yeah.
They're a little bit more sturdy for putting things on.
And do you want to maybe lay some down on here because I think these are gonna be leaky.
Probably.
Okay, I'll grab.
Or do we want to put here, let's put the cutting mat on there.
All right.
Good old rotary mat.
Philip's lovely setup is ruined.
Just sheer practicality.
Yeah. Okay.
So what is this piece? I've seen this on the other streams.
What?
The
This?
cardboard, is it just like a
It's
utility?
It's just it's a piece of masonite with some linoleum glued on it, and it's just like
Oh, thank you.
a test thing that I was testing a while back, just experimenting with different inks on the linoleum to see what sticks, how long it like takes to dry. So I was like trying different like types of pens, and then seeing like if they came off and just.
Oh, sweet.
So it's this piece of
Well,
junk.
longevity.
Yeah. And it just kind of turned into like basically a coaster. It's got like all kinds of crap on it. It's like you can see all these like tea stains. And
Yeah.
the wood got all. It's all nasty.
From the time I spill tea, which is every single time.
That's never on camera.
Yeah.
We hear
Well,
the
it could be
reaction.
now with this setup.
Yeah, now people get to see it when I like grab the because it's like view is so beautiful. Oscar Wilde would be proud.
Whoa. Hello, brightness.
Is that like in your eyes? I mean, it's pretty soft.
All right.
Because usually,
Okay.
since it's usually less like this way and it's more down like that, the light's like tilted more down. And we're usually not like looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
But there we go. We got
Sweet. Okay.
Go for it.
So you've got 2 circles and a square.
Yeah. So
habanero,
Mm-hmm.
pasilla,
Yeah.
and just normal.
And the go-to.
I guess you could call this jalapeno.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main. That's the peppers. If
Oh,
they're
sweet.
going by their peppers.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And if anything gets too hot for anybody, heavy cream
Or yogurt.
or yogurt, which is actually way better. Or actually, the banana would probably.
Banana? Well, usually it's fats that help capsaicin on your tongue.
Get out here, banana.
You're not wanted anymore.
Habanero's nice. It does have a good heat to it.
Yeah, so these
It's
are.
not too bad.
So this is my experimenting, especially the pasilla. That's very. I don't think I've ever had it. I didn't know what it was before, like a couple days ago.
It's dried
pasilla pepper.
Well, they have different names when they're...
when they dry it, it
Yeah.
changes name. We use them at work. I can't think of poblanos.
Well, I guess the habanero one
I,
is.
I think it's poblanos.
Ooh.
So the habanero is roasted.
Oh, wow.
I guess this is important. I guess.
Mhm.
So that that's roasted, and the other two are.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, actually, the pasilla pepper one is tomatillo, and it's also roasted.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. The habanero was not as hot as I expected. But I really like the smokiness in the pasilla one.
Yeah.
I know. I was really scared when I put 2 habaneros in, and it only made like that much salsa. I was like, oh no.
Habaneros is quite a bit.
It is quite a bit, but it's pretty chill. I don't know if something in the process kind of chills it out, of maybe roasting it, but
Yeah.
oh,
These are all really nice.
Hey, we got Madeline on. Yay.
what?
Yeah, the habanero one's really good. Yeah. Trying to decide which one's my favorite. I really like the pasilla one, but I like smoky salsas.
Yeah, this one's more of like, more of like a condiment salsa, not like a big chunky scoop it up with chips. It's like the kind you like go and you put it on your burrito or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that with...
Taco.
Yeah, steak. Nice deep flavor.
Yeah, it'd be good with like kind of more like a what is it? Usually like it's like the Texas style one where it's like got like steak and like potatoes in it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
With
love
some
that.
sour cream. That would be really good.
Yes, Madeline. Yep.
Yeah. How are those babies?
Hopefully, all still asleep.
I know. Crunch, crunch chips into the mic.
Yep.
Asleep.
Yes, good babies. Stay asleep.
So yeah.
I'm
Movie.
trying the habanero one again. I think the habanero one is my favorite one.
It might be mine.
Because just
No.
Oh no.
Bye,
touchdown.
chips.
like the only thing is like even though it's not as hot as I was expecting, I still wouldn't want to like eat like a ton of it because it would just build up. But the flavor is really nice.
I think the habanero is the brightest one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the most cilantro heavy. Hard to say.
And also the roasting makes things kind of sweet.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, I don't know, do you know the science of that? I don't. Why do things...
Maillard reaction?
Part of it.
Possibly.
I,
Yeah.
I mean, it always makes it better for like this sort of a thing. Also, like when you make like a stock, you want to roast like onions and stuff. It makes it better.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Definitely brings out the
When
sweetness of onions.
When I do ramen, I'll roast the leeks and onions that I put in there. I think also the ginger.
Oh, that's cool. I've never been aware that I've had roasted ginger, but that sounds really, really cool.
I don't think I've... So yeah, we've talked about just like chatting about movies a couple times, but I don't know if we like had like a specific direction.
About movies?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
we can just chat about movies.
Yeah. This is pretty impromptu, honestly.
Eliza, what are like your, I don't know.
What are your thoughts on movies?
Movies are great. I like seeing the culmination, and especially from our experience in the industry, how many people it takes to make something
Yeah.
great. But then also seeing behind the curtain, like, hey, maybe that was just like crapped out really fast because the animator wanted to go home that day. So I think it's a fun mix of like, man, so many people work together to make this, but then sometimes you just never know what shortcuts and what accidents or things actually make it through the final product.
Yeah, the sheer logistics of a movie is insane.
Yeah. Like the reason why certain things are in there, like there's so many reasons. Like you said, like it could just be somebody just needed to get something done that day. Also, it's like the reason maybe they got in that situation is because the production team wanted something done. Just
Yeah.
like, tomorrow we need a shot where this character's dancing. I'm like, okay, fine. It's like, it's gonna take a while, but also I'm just gonna almost film this in because I really don't feel like doing that.
I remember there was one animation teacher on Anim School that was like, he sent a shot out to the supervisor and he was like, great, but I want you to make this one change. And he's like, oh, that'll take like a couple hours. And he's like, well, if I just do this, then I can do it in 10 minutes and then I'll just go home. and it worked. It worked for that.
Yeah.
What movies would make it into the top 5?
Ooh.
That's like the generous way.
Who should go first?
Me?
5.
Or I mean, that's just like, what makes it into the top. It's easier.
Like
it's
what?
easier than saying
Oh.
what's your favorite movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just like what are a few that
Ooh.
are in the top, not like give me your top 5 and explain yourself.
Give the right answer.
Yeah. Just like what are a couple that are. Or we can be mean. Just say what's your favorite movie.
I think I like the ones that are groundbreaking or solve a problem or do something new that sets up the stage and sets up the path for a bunch of movies after that. I think that's really cool. Like, this is the groundbreaking movie that solved this thing. Now everybody else is going to do it.
So Toy Story is like your favorite movie of all time.
Actually, Incredibles, because Violet's hair
Mm.
is supposed to be impossible for how long it was at that
interesting.
time. Yeah.
Interesting.
Ooh, we got some movies in the chat. And I love Mad Max Fury Road. I think that watching the special features of that one is scarier than watching the actual movie.
Yeah, it's wild. There's people who are just like, it'd be fun. Let's just do like acrobatics on moving cars.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And let's
With
film it with a
explosions.
story, yeah.
Yeah. And it's awesome. And the people who are working on it were like, ha yeah.
Yeah. It's probably like their resume for their life. Like, hey, I was on this one.
It's like people who work at the video game company Valve.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I just built a motorcycle this weekend. Actually, watching when my daughter was a little younger, she actually really just took a liking to Toy Story, and I was kind of like, oh, Toy Story. But it's pretty fun to watch. I have now seen it. I probably hadn't seen it since, like 1998 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'd only seen it once ever, I think. And now I've watched it like 6 or 7 times.
I've seen it a lot of times.
Yeah, there's...
Hi, Piper.
Hi, Piper.
Yeah,
Piper, if you can't stick around, you better tell us some favorite movies. Quick, hurry, hurry. Hurry.
Hurry
We're watching. We're watching.
before you go to your show or whatever.
Yeah, no more chips until Piper... Nobody can have another chip until Piper gives us an answer.
Or did she already leave?
Oh, shit.
I don't know.
So what about Toy Story makes it
It's just...
stand out?
One thing is, I think it has a very, like, cartoon mentality. It's like, I appreciate when things are, like, cartoony. I think, how do you say this? Aha, Bradley.
Ooh.
I've never seen Stranger Than Fiction.
Oh yeah, that
It's
was
alright.
Piper.
I need to see Stranger Than Fiction again. I watched it before my show.
You're supposed to give us some favorite movies. Hurry. Hurry, Piper. Before your show. Are they performing a show or are they going to a show?
They're going to a show. They
Oh, okay.
invited me before they said, I was like, I already got plans. Yeah, Totoro.
True.
Oh,
Ooh, those are good ones.
that is a good one.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I only get to watch one scary movie a year now, so I have to really make it count.
Aw. That must be tough. That was a far cry from what we were doing them weekly for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... So I, like, save them up all year, and, yeah, we have... Sometime in October, we give the kids to grandma for, like, a night, and that's when I get to watch a scary movie. I guess I could watch them while I work, but I don't really... Watching movies while I work isn't ideal.
Or not a new movie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. And a
Or-
horror movie doesn't work. Like, if it's one where it's more, like, dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
It's
Or
like
music heavy.
More... Yeah.
Yeah,
Or if it's just, like, got, like, a cool ambience. But, like, a horror movie, you kind of have to, like, dedicate your attention to it to really get the effect. Otherwise, it's just, like... Because you can't be looking at it the whole time if you're working.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, the sound is just kind of... It pairs with the visuals.
It's scary sometimes.
See, Madeline,
Yeah.
they like Cat Returns. Cat Returns is cool. Mal's too cool for Cat Returns.
I don't think I'm familiar with Cat Returns.
It's a Studio Ghibli that's not Miyazaki.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's
Oh, no. I've seen most of it.
yeah, it's a I don't know who the director is. I think it's the only one he did for Studio Ghibli anyway. That might not be the case. He might have done Arrietty as well. I don't. Anyway, the moral of the story is it's not Miyazaki, so it oftentimes. Oh no. I mean, yeah, good. Try watching Skin and Rink while you work.
Just with all the lights off.
And just fall
In
asleep.
the dark. You wouldn't be able to understand what anybody's saying. You, like, have to have subtitles on.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, like, some of the dialogue, you're like...
Yeah, they're
What
like,
did you say? Yeah.
It's, like, very scratchy and, like, soft. But it says, like, something like, stab your eye.
I'm trying not to crunch my chips too loud into the mic.
Same.
Hopefully it's not.
Carrie's good. I haven't seen it in a long,
Yeah, I haven't-
time.
I haven't seen Carrie in a long time either.
No,
I
I
don't
haven't
know.
seen Carrie.
There's a lot of good like 70s horror movies that are also sort of hard to watch. I don't know. They're
I
fun.
kind of like hard to watch stuff, though.
Well, then,
Like,
We should
what was that? I always forget the name of the German one. That was, like, with the alien, and it was just about being, like, getting divorced.
oh, the Scottish one. Wait.
No, there's that,
Oh.
like, 60s German one that was really weird.
Oh, that one was extra weird. I don't remember what that one was called either.
That was,
It has Jurassic Park leading man.
Oh, Jeff Goldblum or
uh,
Alan Grant?
Alan Grant. It's that actor. When
Sam
he's-
Neill.
Sam Neill when he's like a baby. It was
Oh.
like that was a weird movie.
it was really weird.
There was a stream. There was a time when I was finding like these like weird. It's because I was getting on lists on the internet of like famous classic horror movies, obscure classic horror, whatever. I don't know where I was finding them, but I was getting these like
I don't know if I
these
call
like
that
cult
classic.
I don't
It
think
was
so.
really weird.
No, it was weird. But they have like all of them were like movies with like little cult followings. And
So they.
I like made everyone watch a couple, and I was like, I need to stop doing this because some of them were really dumb.
I enjoy those.
I liked that one actually, even though it was super weird. I should say I appreciated it.
And Aniari?
Wait, what's Tom and I watched Ishtar.
Ishtar.
Why does Ishtar sound so familiar? Let's look it up. Ishtar. That sounds so familiar. Okay, well,
I really like this habanero salsa.
They're all really good. Like, I'm just going through all of them
Mm-hmm.
pretty equally.
I want to have the pasilla one, on like a burrito or something.
Mm-hmm.
oh, did you? Was it Ames says doing the old ones was awesome and they loved it. Well, maybe I should make everyone watch these movies. The secret is I didn't enjoy a couple of them. Actually, one of the ones I didn't enjoy so much was a newer one when we watched. It was like that, like Netherlands one, which was.
Oh, wait.
It was about like, it was like a modern day take on like elfin folk, except for they weren't like or they were just like regular people, and they like home invaded this family.
Oh.
But they were like elves, and so they were like home invading this family, but also like messing with their heads. And I didn't. I feel like if I give it a thought for a second, I could pitch that a little better.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was a weird movie, and that was kind of the moment where I was like, I don't know how many more of these I want to watch. Because I didn't really enjoy that movie.
Oh, no. Salsa down.
One scary one, which is actually one of my favorite movies, as long as we're doing favorite movies, is original, or not original, but The Haunting, which is like 1960s something, and it's black and white, and it's just super, well, it's pretty like moody and atmospheric, like maybe not super, and I always kind of want to like show that to everybody, but then I always kind of talk myself out of it, because it is old, and like they're never like, old movies are never quite as effective.
I don't know. There's some really good ones.
Yeah, that's one of my.
Wait, what was that? What was that movie where it's like the people driving the truck for the oil company or whatever?
Wages of Fear, or
I think
it was Wages of Fear.
That was really good.
Yeah, that one was super good. And there's a 70s remake called Sorcerer, which is a terrible name for the movie.
Yeah, what?
It's the name of the truck. The truck.
Oh.
It was that like the fun like film.
Bye, Piper.
Okay, bye, Piper.
Bye. Oh yeah, what was that? That one, the Mexican one where everybody turns into the same guy. In that like a train station or something.
Oh yeah.
That was crazy.
Both hilarious and horrifying.
Yeah. Anyway, you were saying.
Oh. Well, one is Wages of Fear rocks, and also so does Sorcerer. Which the fun movie history fact is that name like killed the movie because everyone thought it was like a fantasy movie.
Yeah,
but it's I don't know why you would name it that. Again, it's the name of the trucks. The trucks, I guess, are called Sorcerers. That's the make of the truck, and so they named their movie that. And it's a movie about driving nitroglycerin through a jungle.
Yeah. It's so good though.
Yeah, both of those. We should actually watch Sorcerer. Sorcerer.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I just saw the.
They're both really, really good. Sorcerer is good because it's one of those 70s movies where they really are like driving trucks through a jungle.
Mm-hmm.
And like the shots they get are nuts. Like there's a shot where like they're driving across like a rickety bridge, and you're like, how did they get this footage without like losing trucks? Like it's really cool.
They probably
Wow.
did lose trucks.
They probably did.
What was that other one? It's kind of a horror movie with like a monastery in like Latin America or whatever.
Oh, Black Narcissus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
movie is really good too.
That's an awesome movie.
Those are old movies.
That's true.
And they hold up really well.
Oh,
I love both those movies.
we should make everyone watch Black Narcissus sometimes. Kids could watch that one too, because that one's like...
It's a scary movie, but it's not...
As visually
It's
scary?
like like a historical drama, and then it turns into a horror movie in like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it like...
And it's just a really cool shots.
Yeah, it's super pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, like, up until that last 10 minutes, yeah, it's just like, you're like, oh, some nuns living in like Tibet or whatever.
Yeah, wherever that is.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, Duel. I've always wanted to see Duel. I've never seen Duel. I think that is that Steven Spielberg's car truck movie, right? Is that what I'm thinking?
I don't know.
Hold on.
I haven't
Duel.
seen it.
Movie. Not Duel.
Dural.
Yeah. It's like... Yeah, Duel is, Duel's like Steven Spielberg's breakout movie. And it's essentially Jaws, except for Jaws is like a truck. I've never seen it. We watched some clips of it in a class with Darrell, and I was like, this actually kind of rocks.
Oh, wow.
Because, yeah, basically, like, the premise is that, like, this guy is, like, being followed by somebody. So that's what, like, where, like, the suspense, you're like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, like, supposed, so, yeah, like, it's, like, a suspense movie, but the monster is, like, a truck.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I
A truck
love
that never stops.
Yeah, a truck that's, like, after him.
Oh, wow.
Again, I don't know if... I assume part of the stress is that there's probably somebody mean in the truck. It's not a ghost truck. Even though there's movies about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I really like... This, here's my, like... Oh, what a fancy film person I am. I really like the movie Fitzcarraldo. And so it's Werner Herzog.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about just this is like, speaking of people who did like crazy things, or like, this didn't really break new ground, but so it's about like a rubber baron in the Amazon who's trying to get to like a new area to like develop it, and in order to do so he has to like cross this mountain with a boat. And so Werner Herzog, in the middle of he's like actually in the middle of the jungle with his crew, and he actually like gets this riverboat like over a mountain. So it's like it's like the fact that he did that is like almost like more wild than the movie itself. Like the movie's pretty good, but like the thing that the fact that he like in the middle of the jungle, Werner Herzog like got this like huge riverboat over a mountain.
Yeah.
I think I've seen a clip of that where he's talking about how much he hates the jungle and how the birds are crying out in agony.
Yeah.
That
Werner Herzog's like, I wish I could do a good Werner Herzog, but I can't. But yeah, he's like, everyone thinks it's beautiful, but nature is like death and dying, and the sound of the birds is the sound of like agony or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good clip.
But yeah, it gives, I don't know, Fitzcarraldo is actually, it's a really good movie, but also knowing like what happened makes the movie really wild.
Like, actually did it.
Yeah. Kind of. And it has I don't remember his name. Oh, I do. Klaus Kinski, which is like the most insane actor of all time. Anyway, but that's just learned about him. He's like an absolute wild person, and for some reason Werner Herzog like really liked working with him, even though like he'd like chase people around set with a gun and stuff.
Whoa.
Like he was insane. Anyway.
Ooh, that would not fly now.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, that makes that whole. So not only did he like. Oh, that's a good Madeline Toby soundtracks.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. I could name off like quite a few.
Oh, I mean, yeah, there's so many good ones. just freaking Star Wars.
Yeah,
Just
you've got like
Star
your
Wars.
John Williams, and you've got your How to Train Your Dragon. Love that soundtrack. Oh, and then that composer did Born Identity, almost around the same time.
I'm not familiar with Born Identity soundtrack.
Oh, it's so we've got like your very orchestral How to Train Your Dragon, then you've got kind of techno, very drummy, suspenseful Born Identity.
I haven't seen the Bourne movies in a really long time. I really liked those when I watched them long ago.
Yeah.
There's not time. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Not time to watch all the movies that deserve a watch.
Too many.
Or deserve a second go around after
After
a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. I feel like they like fly by and people are like, "Have you seen this?" And I'm like, "No, it's on my list, but my list has like 500 movies on it." Like I might get to it if I'm lucky. Oh yeah, Spirited Away soundtrack is super wonderful.
Yeah, Joshi Saishi is really good. Well, I just listened to his music by itself. His non-soundtrack stuff too.
Oh, that's awesome.
He has like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's some stuff I'd listen to all on its own. And some stuff I really like because of the association, like with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like the movie I mentioned, The Haunting. It has sort of like a, I don't even know the name. It's like kind of abstract music, and I really like it in the association with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it's one of my favorite movies, but I don't know if I'd like listen to it in the car.
It has to go with the movie.
Yeah.
Philip, what makes a good movie for you?
What makes a good movie for me? I mean, to an extent, like I'll have different things that will interest me about a movie. Kind of like you mentioned, like things that do when a movie does something interesting. But that doesn't necessarily mean I think it's necessarily like a really good movie. It's just there'll be some aspect where I'm like, I really appreciate that they did that. For example, I love House because they did a lot of interesting things. It's actually like the movie itself is like just insane.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I like necessarily like, oh yeah, you gotta see this movie. It's like, you should watch this movie because it's weird, but if you don't want to watch something weird, don't watch it. But I love it for those reasons.
Let's see, 1977?
Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay.
I love that.
I think we should make Justin
Again,
and
I don't think
Liza
it's
watch
necessarily like a great movie,
House.
but I love it.
Oh, wait, this looks familiar. I think.
I thought.
Did
that
we do this in the HVAC theater?
Yeah, we watched it.
Yeah, I thought that.
Okay.
I
You
thought that.
probably have seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it like.
It's like I remember these
I've
images
seen it
here.
several times. But like a really like a excellent movie does need to kind of hit a bunch of different things. Mostly this just kind of like the story that it tells needs to be it's hard to put into words. Basically, it needs to be like touching on like some fundamental like aspect of like humanity.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever
Like
articulated this as hard.
So like there's some movies that are like fun, but they're like kind of not, they're kind of whatever, because it might be something where it's just purely like topical to like whenever it was made. And so it's the
okay,
sort of thing
yeah.
where it's like if you were to watch it in like 20 years, you'd be like, why did anybody
Like
like
this?
this?
Yeah.
Because you're out of the context and it's like lost it. Whereas like you could rewatch something like Wages of Fear and get it, because there's, even though it's like from like what, like
It's like the 50s.
yeah,
It's old.
it's like really old. But it's like in like 50 years from now, people could still watch it and be like, I get this, like, because it's dealing with like, it's not dealing with, oh, what was topical in like 1950. It's dealing with just
Exactly.
like fundamentals of like what it is to be a human, and it's like putting in this situation, and you're like really like thinking about that because it's taking place probably like before even the 50s. When is it supposed to take place? Like
I don't know.
Like the 20s or
Yeah.
something in like Colombia or I don't know where, like Venezuela. But I don't know. For me, that's.
The premises
But
of
there's a lot of things I can enjoy about movies.
yeah.
But like that's one where it's like, for me to consider it like a really good movie that I'd say is like highly ranked, is it touches on things that makes you like think about or just like resonates with you on that like fundamental level, rather than just like, oh wow, that was like a cool visual. Like I can appreciate those, right?
Yeah. I think
But that's a different thing. Like me
Yeah.
being interested in something is like, oh, they did something cool technically, or they did something that was visually very striking, or they had like a. Those can help, and if that pairs up with something that is actually like a really good story, it makes it like an excellent film.
I feel like that's actually what makes Steven Spielberg really good, because it's like really fun, like it's just like super fun movie making, like almost like it's like
if a roller coaster was a movie. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just-
but then they always they're kind of like grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Not even in like a heavy way. I mean, it is if you kind of like think about it, like E.T. or something.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Um, like it's like E.T. is like it gets made into like a ride and stuff because it kind of is. It's like fun movie making.
Yeah.
It's like almost lighthearted, but uh, like you said, there's like some like meat on the bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has some memorable parts. Like if you're watching it as a kid, like, oh man, some government could come in and just like cover my old house to contain this contaminant of an alien, and this alien could die. This the concept of like death and decay in a way, because like it doesn't die quickly. It kind of like
Yeah.
deteriorates, and that's kind of like, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, E.T. kind of touches on a few things. I mean, yeah, stuff like you said, but also like the idea of like homesickness and like developing friendship. It is very much like a movie for kids in that sense, where it's like creating kind of that broader emotional understanding of these different things that, if you're like a kid, like maybe you haven't experienced homesickness yet, but you can like have an idea of like how E.T. feels, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why Spielberg of all things like popped into my head when you were talking about that, but I was just like, he's kind of like the best of both worlds. Because
Yeah, he does a lot of family stuff, because
Yeah.
you can go break down family in Hook and Jurassic Park, and I mean,
it's like light and spectacle-y,
Mm-hmm.
but it just has like I said, some meat on the bones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because like you could obviously think of like way like heavier movies and be like, oh yes, this touched me deeply when I was watching like The Shawshank
Yeah.
Redemption.
oh, I was gonna
Yeah.
say like Schindler's List or
Yeah.
Empire of the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was thinking, yeah, like of his fun spectacle family movies, but yeah, he got heavier things for sure too.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hitchcock's kind of the same way, where it's like
It's like fun, but he is like dealing with
yeah,
deep fundamental things of like the human psyche.
like on the surface they're just like they're just like simple thrillers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not even. It's not even like there's like super. How would you say? It like has the. It's like dealing with like human stuff without being too heavy. I don't know.
It's like it can be heavy if you want to look into it, but if
Yeah.
you just want to watch it as a movie, then it can
Mhm.
be. You can just take the lightness and entertainingness of it.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. It's kind of like if you watch like a good kids show.
Ooh.
Like
Oh, yeah.
like the experience
Oh.
of it is different from being a kid versus an adult. Or it just comes down to like your awareness of things and like how much attention you're really paying to everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
So something like can just be, oh, that was fun, but then if you like kind of think about it more, you can be like, wow, that was really good. Or sometimes you like think about it and you're like, oh, that was actually terrible. That movie was actually not that good. But so it can kind of go both ways. Like in a way, like the flashiness and like the fun of a movie is something that you can always consume that, but depending on how good the movie actually is, you get something different when you dig into it. Because yeah, there's lots of movies that are fun.
I'd say most are fun.
Yeah,
It's
I mean
like-
that's the main thing that
Yeah.
really is kind of being. It's like the first checkbox.
Does it meet?
Yeah, and sometimes that's the only checkbox that gets ticked.
Was that snail movie? Fast Snails, Turbo Snail?
Turbo.
Yeah.
Turbo.
Oh, Turbo. Yep. Didn't watch that.
I didn't watch that either, but when it was just a slow day at the DreamWorks like pitch meeting. They're like, doesn't anyone have anything? And this other guy's like, well, what if snails went fast?
Fast Snails.
Fast snails. And everyone's like, sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's like almost like, all right, here's my analogy: depth of flavor. It's like a depth of flavor thing. Or, I don't know. I've just noticed in a lot of like, art things with really good stuff, there's like layers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Food Fight. Best movie ever made. You gotta have the exclamation point on there too.
yeah, you laugh, you cry.
You wonder.
Yeah, that's why people say that
It
when
gives
they're
you
like,
a lot to think about.
yeah. you're like, why do humans exist in this universe? To make this?
You're just wondering the whole time.
Like, is this the culmination?
How could this come into being?
Yeah.
Like, it's like a miracle that movie exists at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies where you're like, oh, of course this got made, and that you're like, how?
Yeah, how did this get made? Like, it's like the logistics of it are like too complicated and too massive for it to make any kind of sense. But it exists, and it's amazing, but also like really awful. Because yeah, it's like you have a B movie where it's like, oh, this is clearly like you had a crew of like 10 people.
Yeah.
Including the actors. Whereas that, it's like you had to have like dozens of people involved. Like thousands and thousands of man hours put into it. And it's terrible. Terrible beyond comprehension.
I'm not good at like bad movies. I don't have I don't have the patience usually. So, there's a director called Robert Corman. He's kind of like, he's actually super weirdly important, but he was like a super prolific B movie director.
Mm-hmm.
He's important because he trained like everybody, like Martin Scorsese and James Cameron, and like half of the actors in the world like all started on his movies. And some of his movies, I've seen a few that are actually really fun, but I tried to watch the other day one of his, like, there was a period where I guess he was making, like, movies for, like, $2,000 in 14 days.
Wow.
And he was just cranking out these, like, wildly low-budget movies for studios.
Jeez.
And I tried to watch one, which has a great name. It's called The Creature from the Haunted Sea. And it was, like, unwatchable. I couldn't do it. I wanted to. I wanted to be like, oh, yes, Robert Corman. Haha, it's so fun. But I was like, oh, this is unwatchable. I couldn't.
Yeah.
It was literally like teenagers when they get the camera and like decide to make a movie.
Yeah.
It was just like these random people had a camera and none of them knew how to like act or anything.
Oof. Ouch.
Anyway, that was a long tangent to say I can't very often with like the movies that are super bad.
Yeah, I think I've gotten pickier.
There's only a select few that are like really worth watching.
Yeah.
I have a pretty high tolerance, but like there are definitely movies where it's like I can't sit through this. It's like too bad. Food Fight is one I've seen. I think I've seen Food Fight like 3 times. But also it's like you can't watch it by yourself. I've never watched it solo.
No,
That
would
would
be...
be so miserable.
You wouldn't be able to, like, concentrate on it.
No.
I don't know how you would, like, sit down. Like, it would be like an act of will.
Maybe that's why you gotta do it. It's kind of like meditating.
Yeah.
You gotta, like, train your mind.
Yeah, because you gotta watch those with all your friends, and then it essentially becomes Mystery Science Theater.
Yes, yeah.
And then it's fun.
The thing is, there's some movies that are, like, so bad, it's actually just, like, really boring. And so you can't even, like, have fun with, like, a group. You're just like, ugh, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
But Food Fight is one you can watch with other people and have kind of a fun time with it, but...
Trying to think of the last like bad movie.
I know, me too.
I haven't watched a bad movie in
I didn't
a while.
I didn't like Into the Woods in theater. I think that was
I
one of the
I
few.
hated that movie.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
It was kind of like the plot was kind of going somewhere, and then since it's based off a musical, they had like their break, their clear like, this is what the intermission would have been in the musical show, and then after that, it just felt like the plot was a bowl of spaghetti and someone just dropped it on the floor. It just like went everywhere, all over the place, and that was one of the few times I've fell asleep in the theater.
I don't know if I've ever fallen asleep. No, I probably have. In a theater.
I've never fallen asleep in a theater. Closest I got was watching I went to like a midnight showing, I think, of Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
But I was working a custodial job at the time.
Oh.
And I'd already worked that morning. I'd been up all day. I went to that, and then I'd work, like, the next, like, right after that. Like, basically, like, as soon as the movie was over, it's like, okay, I gotta go start my shift.
Oh.
I was so out of it. Like, during the movie, I was like...
Oh.
I was like, I can't do this. But I made it through it. And then I went into work, and I was like, this is so awful. It was really bad. It was a bad decision. And I think ever since then, I have not gone to like a midnight showing of a movie. I was like, that was a bad experience.
That's a pretty bad circumstance.
That's like, I don't... It's like pulling an all-nighter to watch a movie.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
I remember midnight movies like when Harry Potter was coming out. Man, those were fun.
And Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah, we did midnight for Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. It's kind of a high I haven't gotten back to.
Yeah, I remember it was like before theaters had the assigned seats, so like everyone come in super early, try to get their best seats. People would dress up, it'd be like a party, people would bring food. Ah, man, so much fun. I miss those times.
That was actually super fun. Yeah, that's like a cinema. There's like a certain like cinema experience, which essentially is just going to see Lord of the Rings. As a kid that I like can't get back to.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping Dune would do it for me, but it didn't. I liked Dune, but it didn't give me that.
Yeah.
I think the joy of the midnight movies is like you've got a bunch of people who prepared to come here.
Yeah.
At a certain time, they're all super excited, and like it's like the concert version of a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like having like a festival or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like everybody comes there super hyped and then leaves super hyped. It's like a whole big thing.
Yeah.
'Cause you don't really have... One, I don't think people go to the theater as much anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
But also, I don't think people usually go like in like a big group to like a showing. For a bunch of reasons. I know they kind of made like the first showing earlier.
Oh,
So
yeah, when they did the 10 a.m. instead of, or 10 p.m. instead of midnight.
They kind of stopped doing midnight first showings.
I do remember.
I remember they started to pull it back where it's like,
Not cool.
our first showing is going to be at 10 p.m. You're like, okay, well.
Then it's not really
It's not
like...
as cool
Yeah.
now. it's too practical. Also, it made it fun, like, you know, when you're younger, you're like in high school, it's way more fun to be like, hey, we're all gonna go see this movie
stay
at
up
midnight.
late.
Yeah, we're gonna stay up late, we're gonna see this movie. Everybody's excited about it, whereas like if it's just like at like a normal time,
It's like, oh, this is a 10 o'clock movie.
it doesn't feel any different from if you were to watch it like the next day.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Also, yeah, just people watch stuff at home a lot more now.
Yeah, I wonder when, like, or if we'll ever get back to, like, pre-COVID things. It's like, kind of like, okay, that's being released in theater, but is it also going to be released at home? Or maybe I'll just wait until it's released on streaming, so I don't have to go to the theater.
Irreparably where it is.
Yeah.
It's forever
Streaming
changed.
is, like, too weird. I mean, like,
unless
too weird or too, like, standard or expected?
when I mean too weird, I mean it's just, like, it's weird is definitely not the right word, but it's just, like,
well,
it's like a runaway train.
well, and it, like,
it dampens the experience?
It changes the kind of the meta, so to speak, as far as like film production and viewing and everything. So like the way everything's considered is different. Because before it'd be like, okay, like we're gonna focus on box office sales. You know, we're gonna make sure that, like, there's a lot more calculus there before, because that's like the only way that you really made money on a film. And it's still a big factor now, but now, like, getting, like, say, some kind of licensing deal with, like, Netflix plays a way bigger factor.
Or, like, the viewer percentage, viewer numbers.
Yeah, like, producing something for streaming services has different considerations.
Yeah, so what I should say is it's just a technology that changed the game too much.
Yeah.
Like, just financial models.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure also, like, coming up with, like, when VHS was invented, that probably shifted how films were considered too. Because suddenly people could watch films at home eventually.
On their little square TV.
Yeah, on their crappy TV, but people could, and it would change stuff. I mean, for example, Disney for a while did, like, the straight-to-home video stuff for a few years.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the proto-version of, like, releasing a Netflix film that's just a Netflix film.
Ooh.
Except it was just... Yeah. A little bit closer to a normal movie, but...
Yeah, kind of like an interesting midway, because I could see like the straight to DVD or straight to VHS as being like, this is our throwaway. Some super fans of the first movie are gonna go for this. There might be some more merchandise, but yeah, some of those, like, why was this made? And then you've got some Netflix original series, and it's like, okay, maybe the first season is just like their whole pilot to see how well this idea can perform.
Mm-hmm. Well, also it's like, with, for example, if you're doing like a whole series that's for streaming, a lot of times they'll just like film the whole thing in like one go.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll just be like designed to be binged, basically.
Yeah, I do miss like episodic.
So like, and it changes, for example, with that, it like changes structure of like a TV show. Because, you know, before it'd be like, okay, well, this is releasing like an episode a week, or maybe like not even that much. Like maybe once a month, you know, depending on what the show was or something. And so you couldn't structure things in the same way, because you can't expect somebody to like remember everything exactly, because they have no way to rewatch the previous episode. They had to have watched it at a specific time, and so for like the next one, like, there's different considerations, whereas now it's like, oh, well, they can just always watch it, and they'll probably watch them back to back. And so that changes it.
Yeah.
As well. So, yeah, like I said, the meta is different in this case with streaming services. So it's like, will movies be back to being like a cool thing at the theater? Probably not. Unless streaming falls apart.
No, I think
which it probably won't.
Yeah, it's probably here to stay. And
I
just
mean,
get bigger and bigger.
Some streaming services will probably die, but
yeah, it'll probably turn into something. I feel like they're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's definitely not like a set in stone system yet.
No, I think it
feels like it, but I definitely think that it's like constant, because we're kind of in like an expansion stage of there's tons of streaming services, but I think there's going to reach a point where a certain number of them aren't actually sustainable, and they'll just fall apart, and it'll just consolidate. But I don't know. It's not something that I
movies
worry about a whole lot.
Seeing movies in theaters could be cool if people decided it would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still some movies that for sure I'm like, I have to see this in a theater if it's like, you know, if it's epic, if it's like large scale.
Yeah. Grand cinematography focused.
But yeah, definitely like if something is kind of on a smaller scale, I'm like, oh, I don't have to see this in a theater.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen any movement.
It's okay. It's the perfect screen.
Yeah.
Is the camera on?
It was definitely on earlier. Oh no.
I mean,
who's still watching to witness?
Yeah, is anyone still watching?
I don't know. It's like,
let's see. Is anyone still watching?
There we go.
no, it's going. I don't know what that was about. I've never had that issue. It's got 2 people watching.
Hey.
I was gonna say something earlier. I don't remember what it was. We had too much flow going.
Movies and streaming and
I know there's a lot of
never coming back.
Hey, you probably are 2 people.
Bradley.
Just kidding. I think you're 1 person.
Oh no, they've got 2
you're
icons.
Yeah, you got 2 icons. Hey, you're 2 people.
Yeah.
What? Third wheel spouses ditched us?
Oh, Justin definitely went to sleep.
Yeah. And
It was a hard baby day.
oh.
Oh, someone pressed the heart. That's cute.
Please watch the bag of chips. Please. We worked hard on this bag of chips.
Oh no, we're getting little tiny pieces.
Yeah, little tiny pieces. For little bits of habanero salsa.
I was gonna connect sort of movie stuff into sort of what we talked about on other things. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Dude, I don't know
I
how
haven't seen that in so long.
I don't know how that movie got made. I mean, it's
A lot of work.
a lot of work.
Well, I mean, like Disney just had so much money. Like,
Yeah, that's
what
true.
do? They send all the people over to France. All their supervisors do all their sketches, and everyone gets their like feel. And I guess their writers had to break down the book into something with a sort of happy ending.
Yeah, well, they were like some. Cause yeah, you're right. They were probably. I think they were booming after, just like hit after hit after hit after hit. But someone was like, "Hey, I want to do this. It's not a kid story.
And see, that was.
And they had to be like,
Musker
well,
and Clements, right?
you know what? We're gonna put some talking gargoyles in, and I think we'll be fine.
Pretty much.
Oh.
Yeah, because
That song that's in there, I skip it every time.
you,
Oh no, it was.
you skip Bradley's
Gary.
favorite song.
Oh, that cannot be. That no.
You
no.
skip Bradley's favorite song.
Oh, so that was Gary Truesdale and Kirk Wise were the directors.
That doesn't ring a bell. I don't really know animation directors anyway, but I mean, I guess I know.
The Disney kind of used the same little bunch over and over again, because I just watched Treasure Planet the other day while doing something, and that was their Musker and Clements. That was their little golden egg that they wanted to make, but Disney was like, no, you have to make all these other hits first. And then finally, at the very end of the Renaissance, they were like, okay, now you can finally make the thing you like, that you're passionate about, and we won't do a thing to advertise it in any worthwhile way.
Well, Madeline loves it.
Oh, yay.
They're doing their Treasure Island unit at school right now, and she always ends it with Treasure Planet.
Oh, that's
even
so
though
cute.
I want them to end it with Muppet Treasure Island, but she won't.
Oh. Okay, so when you skip it on like a DVD chapters, it ends that way. So you still do get that scene. Or a couple of frames. Ooh, Ella Enchanted. That I did not watch that movie or read the book.
I think I watched and read both, but it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't think
Enchanted.
I've seen or read either.
Yeah, I remember seeing them both, and I can not remember really much about it.
I remember it was Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, I liked it. I remember liking it.
That's all I remember.
Oh no, the HVAC people.
They're gonna come find us.
Security's coming.
They're gonna come tell us
We
it's
gotta
time
go
to
hide
go
under
home.
the desk. Ooh, Ratatouille.
Oh man, Ratatouille
Love
is
that one.
the best.
Yeah, Brad Bird.
Probably favorite Pixar.
Food. Yeah.
Ratatouille's really
I think. Yeah, I don't know. Ratatouille's just the best.
Yeah. Fantastic. I love the visualization of flavor and food. I think that was super cool, because you've
it's
got
very
the Remy.
Fantasia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have the line that represents the different sounds.
Flavors.
Yeah.
No, but in Fantasia.
But in Fantasia, they have the
so
whole thing where they have the line that
it's like, what does this sound look like?
Yeah, and they have a trumpet play and have different things.
Oh yeah.
Although when you're a kid, that's the most boring part.
I know.
When you're a kid, you're like, when is the dinosaur part? But then you get to the, get to the dinosaur part, and you're like, when is this gonna end? No, short chefs are just evil. That's an ancient
truth.
trope. That's an ancient truth. There's fat chef, skinny chef, short chefs are just trouble. That's short chef.
Ooh, what was a good comedy in theaters? I feel like there was a bunch of rom-coms, late 90s. Oh yeah, Napoleon Dynamite.
It's hard because, especially because comedies can just go to streaming so easily.
Yeah, that's probably pretty much. Yeah, that's probably all where.
Yeah.
Yeah. Short chefs are the worst ones. Trouble.
Wait. Am I the short chef?
You're the evil short chef. Thanks, Eliza. Thanks for making us this delicious French food. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. Oh, I don't know when we'll do that next. We never have a fully stocked kitchen, and oh no, it's just time. It's time. Time is tough.
Comedies are in. When we were talking about things being timeless, some comedies are timeless, but like if you ever watch like so many comedies belong so much to their time that if you watch them later, like if you watch, I've seen comedies from the 70s where you're the whole time I'm like, what on earth are they even talking about? Like,
Oh, I know.
they like you like don't get anything.
They're usually really like context heavy with
Yeah.
regards to just whatever's going on in society at that time.
Yeah. And like senses of humor change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, you could watch a Charlie Chaplin movie and people just get bonked on the head with hammers and it's like that movie those will last forever.
Yeah.
Because they're honestly still fun to watch. But yeah, comedies are interesting because I feel like it doesn't take too long before they just
They kind of
they
kind of age.
they belong to their
most of the time.
yeah they belong so much to their own like era.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched a French comedy on an airplane, and I was bawling my eyes out at the end, but I guess that's how they do comedy.
Oh. Like you were bawling your eyes out of being sad?
Yeah.
Sounds French. Sounds like a French comedy.
It was like Under the Stars of Paris. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it was I thought it was sad. They thought it was funny. It was like, okay.
They were like, oh, the irony of our meaningless existences.
It's like it has a happy ending, so that means it's a comedy, right? Sort of happy ending.
Wherever they get their idea of comedy from.
They're like, I'm just going to smoke my cigarette and be sad. Ha ha ha, life.
Oh, Clue is timeless.
Three Amigos is pretty good.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, if you do it like a...
But, I mean, you could still have a movie set in the past, but still be making reference to...
Yeah.
It probably helps as far as, like, having a mindset of making something more fundamental.
Yeah.
Because you make it harder to have pop culture references and stuff. It can still happen though. But yeah, if you're like just having it take place in modern era, it's really easy to just reference things that people are familiar with and laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time is I watched like a comedy.
Yeah, I feel like
where it's like, haha, here's the whole gang of Adam Sandlers and all of the other guys whose names all...
Because I'm thinking now, like, a lot of the big time, like, comedy people are kind of old now.
Yeah, and they're doing, like, they're all doing, like, their serious movies.
Or just, like, not doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
And there's not really been anybody to, like, replace them.
Which is weird, because you feel like there's always probably funny people.
Funny people somewhere, yeah.
Oh, dude. Oh, what's it even called? Is it called 100 Badgers? 100 Hedgehogs. Oh, I didn't like Knives Out. It was like watching a bunch of crappy people be crappy. That was not my cup of tea. I was like, sure, I want to watch some like really horrible rich people just be like horrible rich people and be like, haha, how horrible you are. Yeah, I was not enjoying that. But hold on, what's it? Hundreds of beavers.
Hundreds of beavers. And this is a movie?
101
No.
beavers.
This looks amazing. Hundreds of beavers? Yeah, hundreds of beavers. It's a movie that I don't know when I'll get to see it, but it looks amazing.
Hundreds of beavers.
Hundreds of beavers. It's almost like worth you guys like watching a trailer of it real fast.
Is that real life or animated?
It's done in like an old-timey slapstick style, but it looks, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Are like comedies like all relegated to streaming services now pretty much?
Maybe that's probably. I mean, I'm sure if you looked at the theater, there'd be some comedies, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that I sort of heard of that. Maybe. I don't know."
Also, I mean, it also does a weird thing because I'm trying to think how to articulate this. So, in a way, because streaming services are like compartmentalized in a way that, like, say, a theater isn't. So, what I mean is, for example, if a movie came out in theaters, every theater would have it.
Yeah.
Whereas, for example, let's say, I don't know, Jack Black comes out with a Netflix movie. It's only on Netflix. It's not on, like, Amazon or Disney. And so, like, if, say, you're not subscribed to Netflix, you're not going to see it.
Yeah, if you're not subscribed to the right one, then you're not included in the audience.
Yeah. And so, in a way, something that may do is it kind of... what would be the word? Not dilute, but...
Selective?
It hampers the ability to have, like, people develop celebrity, if that makes sense. And I think comedies are really generally quite, like, celebrity heavy, where it's like a lot of it's like, oh, this is a Jack Black movie, this is an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have something where it's a lot harder for anybody to have that kind of, like, extremely high level of, like, recognition, because if you had somebody new come along and they're in some comedy movie for Amazon, sure, a lot of people see it, but there's also a lot of people that won't see it.
Yeah.
And so that person will never have the same level of, like, star power or, like, anything that sort of draw of, like, say, Adam Sandler. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I think having that, like, compartmentalization of, like, the different things, because sure, a lot of people probably have, like, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon, but also a lot of people don't. For example, I only have Amazon.
Oh yeah, I
so, like,
too.
So if something comes out on Netflix, I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna see it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, if I'm over at somebody's house and they want to watch something on Netflix, sure, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to subscribe to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Know? And so that's a factor, I think, because that's another thing. It changes the meta of how films are made. So it's like, in a way, back in, like, the 90s and early 2000s, before, like, serious streaming services, comedies were probably a pretty, like, efficient thing to do, financially speaking. But now, because of the way it is, they're less efficient.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting thought.
That's just an idea. Oh, that kind of thing affects all sorts of things. But yeah, I was gonna complete an idea, but now I forgot it again. Gosh dang it. Was okay. So it was kind of. I don't know if it's like. For me, it's kind of a pet peeve with movies, but it's like being able to, like, palpably feel like the, like, behind the scenes, like, thought process on some things. I'm trying to think how to describe this. Like, for example, like, I don't like Marvel movies, partially because when they do things like here's our roadmap for the movies we're going to do, it's like suddenly it's like, oh, well, this isn't, there's nothing interesting about these movies now. Because, for example, it's like, why would I care about what happens in this Iron Man movie if I know there's going to be like 3 more of them?
Yeah.
Like, there's no tension anymore because you're like, oh, well, I already know that they intend to do these other things. So that means that narratively certain things like are guaranteed.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, where you're like, oh, I can tell that they're doing this for whatever non, like, story reason, but, like...
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing with Disney live-action remakes of stuff. Like, I refuse to see them because I understand, like, why they're doing it. Like, on, like, a... Basically, like, oh, like, the copyright reasons and, like, the... financial reasons for it. It's like they're not doing it because they're like, wow, we have a vision to tell like this story that's worthwhile. They're like, shoot, we need to like legally do this, otherwise we might forfeit copyright or something. And you're like, oh. Or it's like, oh, we know that we can do this cheaper and capitalize on like a known franchise that we have. Like there's like some like calculus behind it where it like kind of like drains all the soul out of like the creative process of it, and it like
absolutely
kind of
it's a hollow shell.
Yeah, and that's, as I was saying earlier, it kind of connects into things that we've talked about because it's like completely insincere.
Yeah.
Yes.
To do that. That like they're not like, oh, we really got this story to tell that we think is gonna.
We have this old story.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we have this thing we already told. We're just doing it again.
Just change like, a few things that people aren't gonna like.
Yeah.
Probably.
But it's
just throw it out there again.
Yeah, it's like.
And it's the.
As Tolstoy would say, it's an imitation or a... Was that the word he used? I can't remember.
I think so, yeah.
Imitation of art.
Yeah.
It's just,
and in modern parlance, it's content, not art.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually one of the... We've brought this up a couple times as movies being kind of like an interesting example of... or like an interesting case study because they're so cool and they're so expensive. The those things are kind of like the expense and the artistry is like kind of always at odds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and sometimes you get people who just get to make their cool things forever because they've done a good job and everyone loves it. Like, just...
Yeah.
But there's always... The finances is like looming over movies like at all times because they're so expensive to make.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of
so many people.
It's similar to architecture in that sense, where it's something where you have different forces at odds, and it's because it's something that's so complex to produce. Architecture is a little bit different because you also just have like the sheer utility factor involved, whereas like arguably film doesn't have like a strict utility. I mean, I think like creative things and aesthetic things are utility in their own way. But like a building, it's like, oh, we just need like units for people to live in. Like, it's just like a
Yeah. Or
very
somewhere.
stark utilitarian consideration that goes into it.
Or somewhere to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's similar in the sense that, like, even like a simple building is still like a pretty big undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, like an apartment building is like a very big involved thing. And so, yeah, so it's like, do I think AI? So, I don't know how much
knows?
AI will affect financials.
I think it can speed up a few things, but not a lot of things.
My concern with AI is actually more to do with the fact that it will make people really lazy. And you're going to have a lot of people. So, like,
Yeah,
I'm
brother.
trying to think of how to.
I'm gonna beat you up first chance I get
like when
for even saying it out loud in the chat.
Permanently in the chat.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when we took like Brent Adams' class. Like, one of the points he always made is like, you should always be trying to have the software do what you want it to do, not just doing what the software wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My concern with AI is people just start to fall into, oh, that's what it gave me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they put in work to like really like finesse it, you're still ultimately always like landing on, well, this is what it spat out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my concern is eventually you just have people being like, oh yeah, this is sure cool that it did this. And eventually you'll just get lazy. And it'll just become like this like mess.
Yeah, like the good art still always has to be done by hand. Like AI can only be AI because it has a library of millions of
Things
art
that
pieces.
people did.
Yeah.
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 And if you were to like feed it back on itself, it would like it would be very incestuous. And it would get like malformed. Because would just be getting fed like stuff that's like slightly off, and after
yeah,
like
like
become
little
more and more
claw
off.
hands, and I can just see like it's either all like soft and pastel-y of mush, or I don't know, in any direction, or like all dark and murky of like, oh, this is scary or this is gothic.
Yeah, it would do some weird things, but I don't know. I know people have all kinds of thoughts on AI. I mostly just look at it and I'm like, it's just another tool, honestly. I just am more worried about people getting lazy because of it. And it just leads to kind of like a weird like mess of like meaningless nothing that people produce.
Yeah,
because it's like good enough, I guess, but it has nothing behind it.
Mm-hmm. I could see it as like a starting point for some concept design, but it definitely shouldn't be any final things.
No. I could see there being, yeah, it's a more nuanced thing. I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't like worry about it that much.
I don't give it a whole lot of thought.
I just think it's just a tool. I think it will probably get misused a lot, but I don't know. I don't know actually like how beneficial really any of it is, honestly. But because I mean, I'm doing like physical art, like paintings and prints and stuff. And honestly, in a way, maybe it's good that for me that there's lots of AI art, because eventually there might be a point where it's like, oh, this is actually somebody made this.
Yeah.
This is worth something.
Uh-huh.
Instead of just like, oh, anybody could have like typed in some prompt and crapped out whatever. Yeah. But you can't AI print like that.
No.
Because it's made from actual like physical things.
Yeah. You can
that
feel.
have unique properties to it.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you could tell a computer to make something that looks like that, but you can't. Well, you're gonna print it out. You're gonna just print it out on like your inkjet printer. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Will affect the financials though? I don't think so.
It's like, could
It'll
AI...
affect like the creative process, I think.
I was thinking,
Depending on how it
could...
gets utilized.
Yeah,
But
like, could AI ever replace animators?
I mean, it could, but again, it's like,
will it?
well,
Would it make
what way?
something
What
that
does it
people would
mean?
like to watch?
Yeah.
Because even motion capture still needs to go through a hand, or at least it should.
Yeah,
Before going
it's
to
got
the
to get
final.
cleaned up.
Yeah.
I mean,
or
again,
like totally reanimated.
or yeah, you end up just redoing the whole thing. But and I don't know. I could see like ways. I guess you could use it to like make some stuff go a little faster. But again,
Like, could it reduce the number of artists?
I have no
know.
idea.
No.
It's really hard to say, because again, so much of it depends on how it gets utilized, how like what sort of applications get found that it can use. If people find it reliable enough.
Yeah,
Bradley,
reliability.
first you get us talking about comedies.
Now we're talking about
AI.
AI. What's your next one, Bradley? Hit us with your thoughtful thing.
But yeah, I know some people think there's like a copyright issue with AI art. But I don't.
That'd be so hard to track, because if it can just look at everything that's on the internet, like, all at once.
I just think that that's kind of BS, because it's essentially just a collage at that point, which you can do a collage. Also, a lot of art anyway is basically looking at other things, getting reference, figuring out an application, resynthesizing it anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah.
So that aspect of it, I think, is kind of a red herring concern.
Okay, Bradley, just
But
relax.
From what I've seen, it's like the biggest concern a lot of people have.
Feel natural.
I don't know.
Yeah, I watched this one
Give us a good prompt.
person on Instagram who had her
Relax.
clothing design stolen, and it was put on a Amazon listing. And so Amazon has like some videos you can sometimes have of the product.
Mm-hmm.
So this other lister, this company who's making fast fashion, took the own creators' videos and did a face replacement on it.
Oh, wow.
And if you didn't know, it was actually pretty good.
Wow.
Like, because if it was only the
Yeah.
face, hands and body and everything else, and the actual fabric and everything
Yeah.
else is still exactly the same. And so it's just a really
Well,
good face.
Yeah, and that's straight up just stealing. But
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point, that's...
And that's been like a long-standing problem. Now they just have more tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is it? Is it, I don't remember if it was Key or Peel, but one of them did a Obama impression with a deep fake.
I don't know.
And that was really good too. And that was years ago. That was before deepfakes were good.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is... Well, because that's... All I want to do is have dinner with everybody and, like, make, like, a little mini, like, D&D puzzle for everyone to do. Interactive storytelling. I don't know, that's a little more... That's a little...
It gets very complicated.
Yeah, that's a little less, like, technology than maybe what you're thinking with, as far as interactive storytelling being, like...
Future of entertainment.
Being like the VR room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interactive storytelling. It's kind of like escape rooms. You're like in a story, you have to get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that's pretty broad.
Because like, I also think of like theme park rides. Like that's, you're in something physical that's also telling you a story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the peak of creativity, because interactive storytelling, think of like D&D, it's pretty it's pretty creative. It's very it's like super imaginationful, but there's lots of different kinds of creativity, obviously. It's hard to say what's like the peak of creativity.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there is such a thing.
Yeah,
there's places
one peak
where things get just applied.
There are mountain ranges of creativity.
Yeah.
And one of them is playing the piano, and another one is gardening. And dude, wait, what are we doing talking about movies? We should have had an entire episode on houseplants with Eliza.
Oh. Another time.
Okay, start over. It's
Closest thing to houseplants I have are my tulip paintings. That's the closest thing.
Yeah, can we get some houseplants for Philip that require zero light? I think there are a few.
Some
like
mushrooms.
like cave plants.
Like moss or lichen. I don't know how to say it. Lichen.
Yeah, interactive storytelling. My immediate thought, I've never given this much thought except for it is kind of like a descriptor of the thing that I've been secretly working on in my heart for ages. But my immediate thought is it's like, oh yeah, okay, so you start with like a D&D, and yeah, all this technology, if used correctly, could really make it groovy.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just the idea that everyone's kind of like there having like a fun imagination thing together. I don't know.
Like VR D&D?
D&D VR.
I don't know.
That would take so much setup.
Well, just the idea that like
may as well just
that somebody's got like
foam swords and go to the park.
Well, it doesn't have to be, D&D. It's just the idea that like you can like interact. It's not just like a movie where you're like sitting down experiencing it, but you can be like, I opened the chest, right?
Yeah.
So like, oh whoa, Madeline. Well,
missed everything.
Yeah, you've missed a lot. Bradley's been giving us really good prompts.
We fixed the camera.
The chip image froze is very important. Yeah, okay, it's still going. We talked about comedies
and how they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's like stand-up comedy specials on streaming services now.
Yeah, I guess that's
like
closest. YouTube. Oh, Helldivers.
I don't know what that is, but
oh, it's a game Justin's been playing a lot. So the basis is
for nerds. I understand.
Yeah.
You get a ship. You name your ship, and the ship shoots down a soldier down to a planet, and you got to do something. Mm. But the soldiers die.
Yeah,
all the time. But you name your ship. You don't name your soldiers. Yeah. So who's the character, really?
Oh, interesting.
Well, what's interesting about it is that you actually there's actually somebody at the game studio that's basically orchestrating like the whole war that you're fighting in.
Oh.
And they'll give out like a major objectives where it's like everybody needs to like defend these planets. And whether or not the players actually succeed or not affects what happens.
Oh, okay.
And so, for example, like a month ago they had one where it's like you had to defend some planet that was like producing these mechs that were going to be used for like a power up like thing that you could use later. And like because everybody succeeded in that, now it's like a thing you can use.
Colonization?
Yeah, so like you get like different benefits and it changes how it goes.
That's
so it's
interesting.
kind of cool. So it's like a big, like, massive. So it's less you have like a big impact yourself. It's like you're doing all these little missions, and you can see like. Whenever you complete a mission, it tells you like, here's like the impact that your squad had on like the liberation of this planet, and it's like you had like 0.00001% effect, and you're like, cool. But because there's like 100,000 people on that planet doing that, it's like having it like adds up.
Mm-hmm.
But it is interesting. It is kind of like an interactive story thing. But yeah, it is shallow in the sense that you're basically, the story involvement is like, kill stuff on this planet. It may or may not affect things.
So we can get this element.
Yeah.
That turns sideways is oil. Or upside down, don't remember which.
It is fun though. I like that game. Yeah. I don't know, there's a lot of factors why comedy is like in a weird state. Well, also partially too is, I think it's almost more like a genre movie you watch when you're like a teenager. Because I don't even like think about.
I actually thought of that. I was like, maybe there are these comedies, and we are blind to them, and only
Well, I don't
you
know.
can't
We're
can't
just
see
not
them.
the demographic anymore.
We-
Because I have my coworkers, a lot of them are like early 20s. I can't. I feel like they don't talk about. Oh, did you see this new comedy that came out? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more like what's on the
People
comedy
talk
streaming
a lot
or.
more about other types of movies.
Yeah.
I think Hot Ones is the closest we have to regular comedy. That's not like a
Just like YouTube videos.
TV. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, there's lots and lots of YouTube videos. There's yeah, that's true. There's lots of people being funny, just not like. No, not like Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
yeah. And I think Amy's right. Like, Knives Out wasn't my favorite movie, but it's still pretty like fresh. I'm thinking of like comedies that everyone's like been into.
Mm-hmm.
That one was pretty big, and it's like. I was trying to think of like when last like, again, freaking 100 beavers, hundreds of beavers. That movie is going to. I want to see it so bad. I know the chat can't see it, but you guys should. We should pull up a thing and just watch it. You don't even need the sound really. So you can.
Oh, it's that funny. Is that visually funny already?
Game night.
Game night.
I've never heard of Game Night.
Yeah, there are things that are funny, like Wes Anderson's. Like, his movies are like. They're funny movies.
Yeah.
Like they're not like.
They're like. They're
Like
he makes comedy movies.
Yeah, they're comedy movies.
But they're not like the same
Yeah.
as like a comedy movie.
Yeah, they're not. You're not like, oh yeah, here are my two favorite comedians getting into zany action.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's.
Mm-hmm.
He makes like comedy movies that like don't have like normally like comedic actors in it.
Yeah.
Basically. Besides like Bill Murray.
Yeah. Maybe the real secret is that SNL's just not cranking them out like it needs to be, since SNL's supposed to be like the factory.
But nobody watches TV.
Yeah, nobody watches TV.
Yeah. It's just YouTube.
Every time
Just
I
watch
see, I feel like
SNL
every time I've
skits you
seen
like
an
on
SNL
YouTube.
skit in the last like couple years, it's been lame. That's not to say, maybe there are probably some really good ones, but I just haven't seen them because I don't really like search out SNL skits.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like the last dozen or so I've seen over years hasn't been very fun, and I'm not like, aha, this wonderful up and coming comedian that has captured my heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I can't even think of the last time I watched SNL.
Again, just like
It's been a
random
long
clips,
time.
and I don't know when it's. Oh hey,
Whoa.
Oh, hello.
Hassan, as they call him.
What?
Hassan. That's Jason.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we all
Hi,
knew
Jason.
that. I was just saying that. I know we all knew that. Yeah, ticket. There's a lot of things that killed movies, but ticket prices don't help.
No.
It's like, it's a legit barrier. I mean, I'm already like not inclined to go see a movie in a theater unless it's like a big theater movie.
Yeah.
And then when it's our date night and it's gonna cost like $1 gajillion.
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah, it's because we're like, you want to eat too, so we want to go out to dinner, and
You're not gonna go do a dinner and a movie.
well, and when we do,
Just pick one or the other.
it ain't cheap.
Yeah, it's like really expensive.
So that is actually 100% a thing.
You
Yeah,
have to go to like a matinee or something.
I just
At
want to
that
be
point,
like,
you're like middle of the day.
yeah, I want to be like sucked up in a movie real bad, and so I do like want to go see movies in theaters because that's where I feel like that's gonna happen the most, to get like really like absorbed in a movie.
Yeah, going. Yeah, how much is a ticket right now?
I don't even
It's like-
know.
It's like $20
It's something. Yeah.
Eesh.
for like an evening showing. It's like $20. It's like 18 something probably.
Wow.
And then a matinee is like 13. Unless that's wrong. Unless it's like a matinee's.
I'm trying to remember because I
Like
think the
9
last
and
movie
a-
I saw was a matinee, and so it probably wasn't as
I might be
not as
wrong.
bad.
Here's what we need. We need those theaters.
Need dollar theaters again.
We need dollar
Yeah.
theaters for sure. But we need those theaters where they just like show whatever random movie. Like I think there's a few. There's like one in like Pleasant Grove, where they'll just show like, you know, Casablanca and Jaws and The Matrix and just like whatever
Just
they want.
old movies.
Yeah.
Those are super,
Whatever they feel like.
those are
Yeah.
super fun.
I don't think there's anywhere like that.
Again, there's Pleasant. There's one in Pleasant Grove.
Is there?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I see.
Oh,
Yeah, like
um,
occasionally, like,
My
Scare?
coworker was telling me about. I think they're gonna do. I can't remember now. He was excited about it. It actually sounded cool. I can't remember which movie it was.
movies at the park or
No, I think it's in.
symphony movies.
I think it is in Pleasant Grove. It's probably where you're thinking of.
Yeah. It's like an old.
Gosh dang it!
It's like an old little theater in kind of like a
Is it
rundown
Lord
little
of the Rings.
place.
I don't know if it's Lord of the Rings. I can't remember. No, it's Phantom Menace.
Oh,
Ooh.
They were gonna do Phantom Menace showing. And
earlier.
it actually sounded kind of fun. It was like they're like, oh, we're gonna do a midnight showing of Phantom Menace,
Oh,
like it's like an
Aw.
So
opening night for it. I was
Oh,
like,
no.
oh, actually, that sounds kind of cool.
I was actually earlier in this
But-
conversation. I was gonna ask each of us what's like an early movie experience, and that was gonna be mine. Was
Ooh.
Phantom
Yeah.
Menace. Seeing Phantom Menace as a kid, it was like the movie event of my childhood because it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
Aw.
They have a dollar theater and a old play whatever they want theater.
The heck?
Pleasant Grove.
Oh, that's fun.
What?
I don't get how the Dollar Theater doesn't. How'd that go out of business?
Maybe.
I feel like in a Provo is like a double college town.
Yeah.
Especially where the Dollar Theater was. It was like right on the border, so I don't know how they weren't like booming.
I don't know the.
All the college kids want cheap dates.
Yep.
I don't.
Did they
Maybe
choose to close, or do you think they ran out of money?
They may have
There
just
could
been
have been-
bought out because that whole
Yeah.
thing's like been torn down, is being developed into an ugly apartment.
But there's
mess.
not like dollar theaters very often anywhere.
No.
I'm wondering if there's something in like the distribution chain if companies like charge too much for the movie. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like something
I mean,
doesn't
usually
make it.
they show they don't show like the latest stuff in those. It's usually
Yeah.
Original animated Beauty and the Beast.
yeah.
Oh, dude.
Something like
Somebody should just do one where they just like play Netflix or something. It's just like
that.
their
The
own
Netflix
movie.
theater.
They just play like streamed stuff, and they just have it on a schedule. It's like, we're gonna watch this movie, and they just have a really
Oh
big.
yeah, Thursday
There's-
nights are these episodes.
Yeah, they just like have episodes of. It's actually, it's probably illegal to do that actually, but this would be a funny idea. 'Cause I know technically, if you like own a copy of a movie, it's like technically illegal to show it in public.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to have like a special copy.
It's
like
not
a
just
proof-
technically illegal. There's a whole
It's-
screen.
Literally illegal.
You wouldn't
The FBI will
That's
come for
right.
you.
you wouldn't steal
Yep.
a boat. You wouldn't steal a shaggy dog. Piper, we're talking about several things.
Talking about the theaters in Pleasant Grove.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Do you think that there's like both a shows old cool movies theater and a dollar theater? Is that because the Piper and Tom live there and they're lending like their hipster energy to Pleasant Grove? And it's infusing Pleasant Grove with
I don't know.
with
I didn't know there was a dollar theater there.
I didn't. Yeah, I feel like there's been a long time since I've seen any dollar theaters. I feel like there's got to be something.
Only unrated.
No rated R at Water Gardens. I mean, that's okay, because is Water Gardens the one that plays old stuff? Because
I
that's
think
okay,
so.
because I mean, they can just play like Casablanca and stuff, and that's fine with me.
They like only show
Ratings
like, movies from like 1914.
ratings don't even really matter
It's a
until like the
silent
mid '80s. They're like, where's all these?
I don't know about all these cheap theaters
Yeah,
up north. What the heck?
we went and
There's
watched.
zero here.
Yeah,
They're all like normal theaters in Provo.
Zero in the, like you said, the 2 college town. Huh.
New kids movies.
Okay, so that's not the one that plays old movies. Where's the one in Pleasant Grove that plays like old movies? Or like whatever. Anyway, the other thing we were talking about was childhood movie memories. Oh, hey.
Someone's pressing the hearts.
Oh, wow.
Look at the hearts go.
So much love. Eliza, what's a childhood movie memory?
October Sky.
Oh.
I think that was one of the
Sky.
earliest movies I can remember watching in theaters. And I'm
I do
almost
not.
like, certainly it should have been like a Disney movie, right? But I can't. Maybe we just always watched them at home, or I'm not sure why I can I can't remember them in a theater.
Huh.
Huh.
I don't know what my early theater. I mean, Phantom Menace was like a theater event, but I don't know what like the early theater movies would have been.
Yeah, I'd say theater events would probably be midnight movie showings for like
Yeah.
Harry Potter, Twilight, stuff like. Yeah, I think those were the only ones I did.
Jason, you didn't even say anything. You gotta contribute. You gotta contribute 2 meaningful things before you leave.
The
Traverse
Grinch in
City.
theaters. I saw the Pokemon movie in theaters.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I do remember that.
That was a pretty big event.
The posters with the Grinch's hands scared me. And I'm like actually I was like a little older too. Like I wasn't like a little kid at the time. But like something about his hands were like spooky. Oh, speaking of memories, here's an Eliza relevant one. My dad got Jurassic Park and we watched the VHS on our TV that's, like the size of a dinner plate, maybe less. And it scared the living daylights out of me. But it's just funny, like, looking back, I'm like, I used to just watch, like, Star Wars on this thing, and you're totally immersed, and it's the tiniest, crappiest TV.
It's like totally garbage.
Yeah, but you're a kid, and you're watching it, and you're just totally into it on a screen that is... I don't know how big that TV was. It was tiny, though.
I remember I wouldn't go into garages with the light off because of the Velociraptor scenes.
As my brother, but with Congo.
Oh, Congo.
He wouldn't go downstairs for like years, like Alone in the Dark.
There's another Michael Crichton one. That's good.
Oh.
What's your movie memory?
Memories. I mean, as far as like movies freaking you out, I remember I was like, as a kid, I was like, thought tornadoes were super fascinating, and we went and we rented Twister, and then I was terrified of tornadoes and like bad weather. I remember a lot of like watching movies like on VHS, like at my grandma's house. A lot of like the Ernest movies. I don't know why we had those.
Dude, who
specifically,
knows?
and we watched them a lot.
And
or like Pee-wee's Great Adventure or whatever.
Oh, I think our camera froze again.
That's fine.
Uh-oh.
As long as they can hear us.
I don't know why
our beautiful
it's freezing
voices.
up like that. Why the camera won't stay on? It's plugged in.
Animated The Hobbit scared me.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, VHSs.
There are a lot of spooky movies on VHS. It makes it spookier. It's kind of like watching The Thing on like an old TV. It's like so much better.
Is it kind of like found footage, or like you're a security guard watching the thing?
The movie? I don't know. It just like feels like the right way to watch it.
Oh, in a funny way, I think that makes a lot of sense. In early films, they obviously didn't have like super HD cameras and such, and so when I got the super Blu-ray version of Jurassic Park, and they enhanced it and everything, you can see wires, you can see their makeup, you can like just see too much.
Yeah.
It's like they really knew their medium that way.
Yeah. And it's like almost like it allows your like imagination to play with it a lot more because the quality is
you
not
feel
as
the
good.
gaps.
It's like
Whereas like
fuzzy.
if you have all the details, and it's like kind of weird.
When you got all the detail, you're like, oh yes, people in costumes.
Yeah.
That's how it. That's how it feels.
Yeah, Maybe making 4K monitors and stuff was a mistake.
That's what I felt.
We shouldn't have improved past like the mid 90s as far as like
1080p.
That,
like whatever is like 320p or whatever.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have gone above that.
that's what it
It's
felt
the
like
maximum.
to watch whatever, which was, I think it was like the second Hobbit, the recent ones.
Mm-hmm. It's at like 10 million frames a second.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it
that
feels
one.
very weird.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're like, like all these people in costumes. Like, what is this like high budget BBC thing?
Yeah.
Because that's how it feels.
Ooh.
That movie was actually super hard to watch that way. It was like I didn't get used to it.
Yeah, I think I didn't even have Justin watch the third one.
I didn't watch the third one.
Yeah,
I-
it was
I
just
did.
so.
Because I wanted to see how bad it got.
Yeah, I mean, they
That
just
was
it
the
was just like
only
they didn't have a
reason.
focal point on anything. It's like cinematography just went out the window. But it's like they have like obviously a sizable budget, and yet where did
And you
It
know,
was
like,
the finesse
and you
go?
know, a
Gigantic.
book,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
they have like a story to go off of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you don't even have to write the story.
Just condense it.
They somehow
Paraphrase.
like made it like longer than the Lord of the Rings,
Oh yeah, that's right.
even though the book is like tiny. The Hobbit's like it's not very big.
Gotta make the monies. Gotta milk it for all they can.
What is that face?
Yeah. Yeah, Madeline. What kind of
The YouTube emojis are kind of weird.
what kind of thoughtful?
It's
is
like
that
there's
is
not a
this
good
YouTube-
like
looks like
shocked or
a-
gasped
looks like a
face.
ghost.
Ripping his face off.
It's like scream.
Is that not a
scream
ghost?
face.
Is that not a terrifying ghost?
I don't know what the YouTube emojis are.
Yeah, they're
I
weird.
just
I
like
don't
see
use
them on
them.
here and I'm like, what on earth?
Yeah, I've never seen. I've never seen these outside of this.
It's like we gotta be different from Google and Facebook, so let's just go weird.
It's like, what?
Madeline,
Yeah,
you
what is
gotta
that
give
I've
us.
not seen that
It's like
You gotta give
what
us
emotion
s-
could
a
that
s-
be?
They're
a
weird.
movie related prompt, Madeline. Not a.
These are like they're
Yeah,
like
maybe my last one.
I know. I think we're hitting walls here.
Game over, man. Game over.
Or Bradley can, since he's been our.
Oh, Jurassic Park 2 is earliest.
Jurassic Park 2.
I remember getting the book of Jurassic Park.
Did I see Jurassic Park 2 in
And it
theater?
was
I
so
think
cool.
I did. I don't remember.
Bro, we
I
can't get.
remember that movie though.
Yeah, the book was completely different. Good night. Good night, Bradley
No,
Names.
no. I mean, I think we should probably go to bed too. But no,
Yeah.
Madeline, I'm just gonna ignore that comment too,
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah, what? I
Jurassic
wonder what the
Park
first
2.
movie I saw in a theater was.
I have this early memory of seeing 101 Dalmatians in the theater. I think it must have been
Ooh.
a re-release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have had
Where's
to.
it?
Be,
Out of
obvi-
the vault.
it would have obviously had to been a re-release. You guys
Or
are like,
let's see, what do they call it?
or I'm like a very young vampire.
Yeah.
Like I'm only 80 years old.
Oh, Jurassic Park books? Yeah, they're really good. They are a roller coaster of a book.
Yeah, Michael Crichton books are. Have you ever read Eater of the Dead?
Oh no, I haven't.
I think that's the. It scared the tar out of me. We're not talking about books here. That one got adapted to a movie too. That's not a very good movie.
kind of like Stephen King movies. A lot of them are really awful.
Yeah. Dude, should we watch The Langoliers sometime?
I looked up like clips of that
I think.
on YouTube, and they're like so bad.
Yeah, I think we talked about this like
it's
years
like really
ago.
goofy.
Yeah.
The premise of it is also like really goofy anyway.
It's
like why was this made?
Well, it's like one of those. I'm not like a Stephen King aficionado, but if only Bradley was here.
If only he stayed up a little bit longer.
But it's like an interesting idea. If I recall, I'm basing this off of seeing this while sitting on my grandma's bed and just like watching garbage TV. But yeah, I don't need to go into Langoliers, but yeah, it's like monsters that eat time. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Best movie.
They look weird.
Ooh.
Best movie adaptation.
Ooh, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
How's Moving Castle? Lord of the Rings. I don't know. It's pretty good.
Lord of the Rings was actually really good.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to answer Lord of the Rings for a lot of things.
I know, like, there's a bunch of things that people kind of complain about, but honestly, it captures, like, how you would imagine it to be very well. Because I remember I read the books, like, right before the movies came out.
Oh, cool.
And it was really cool. Like, so I thought it was really good. Trying to think of other ones that could be good.
I thought Mary was a girl for like a whole entire book.
I think like Mary and Pippin are like boyfriend and girlfriend.
I just thought Mary was a girl, and somehow I just ignored. I sort of like half read those when I was a kid.
I tried reading them in high school, and then it was just so long-winded that I was impatient.
Yeah. Tolkien is kind of wordy.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when they're... Again, now we're talking about books. When they get captured by, like, the Borrow Whites.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these ghosts. It's not in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They get... On their way to... Like, 1,000 million things happen to them on their way to Bree.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, that doesn't make it into the movie. For good reason. And one of them is they get, like, captured by, like, these specters.
Yeah.
And he spends, like... that was the moment when I remember I was like, what is this? Where you're first, like... He spends, like, page after page, like, describing, like, the historical significance of, like, the landscape.
Yes, that's where I stopped.
Yeah. And, like, all of the historical stuff leading up to, like, why, you know, why there are ghosts in this hill.
Apparently, my parents read my older siblings' Jurassic Park on road trips, and then I read it as, like, an older teenager, and I'm like, man, how much did they edit out of this? There's, like, swears on every page.
They just didn't edit it at all. They were like, we can't do this to Eliza.
Light. Oh, reading by the light of the light. Aw.
That is charming.
I remember I had this little kind of dresser I put up near my window, and I would just sit on it It's my little spot.
Yeah, we can do that too, Madeline, but it'll be with Jurassic Park.
And you can read it to little Madeline and William.
We're like,
And they're too young to understand the swears.
yeah. Yeah, it's like, and then he crawled into a pipe and the little compies ate him or whatever.
Just summarize it.
Yeah, maybe that's how they did it.
He crawled into a pipe and died.
No more Mr. Gennaro.
Why did the guy crawl in? Why did he die?
Wait, which guy? There's so
Okay.
many guys who died.
Sorry. Hold on. Okay, the guy, in the books, spoiler, Mr. Guy who owns the whole island.
Oh,
Hammond.
Dr. Hammond.
He dies.
Yes.
Something bites him and like poisons him.
Oh yeah, I think it was the compies.
Yeah, because then he just he crawls into a pipe and falls asleep and dies.
Yeah, I think he was...
And then the compies come eat him.
He fell into a ravine, and he was right there by the visitor center, and they just didn't see him. He couldn't yell, he couldn't get up, and he just died with the island.
Oh, yeah. That was my big takeaway. I was like,
They do
aha.
travel in herds. I love, if we go on our book tangent, Michael Crichton is like, here's technology, and here's like how it kills the greedy person with technology.
That is a reoccurring theme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Timeline, Jurassic Park,
Westworld.
Mm-hmm.
Whole herd of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the...
Yeah.
Okay. So Michael Crichton's first successful book got turned into a movie in the 70s. Who knew he was that old? What's it called? It's about a space virus.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, I know that one.
It's not a very good
read that
movie
one.
because...
what is it?
Because Darryl
It's
made us...
not Prey, that's his last one.
Strain.
Andromeda's Strain.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Darryl made us watch that movie. And it's like...
Ooh.
It's like a weirdly ineffective movie. Is it? Well...
We should probably call it for the night.
Yeah. I hit a wall like an hour ago, but here's the thing is that you can get like second and third and fourth wins.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can keep going for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, the
I think
sermon's
last time we
very...
were up to like 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was so late.
was
I was
really
like
late.
in bed, and I'm like, I'm falling asleep, but I want to stay on.
I know, I was... Actually, I wasn't too bad. But in the morning, I was so sad.
Yep, we need to go sleep, and I've got to... Yeah, you guys are close.
Yeah, you have
You got a
to...
little longer drive.
Yeah.
I did feel bad making you... I figured you had to drive 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, no. No, not too bad. Like, not that bad.
Okay, good.
No. It's just like honestly, the rental car was wedged into this very funny parking spot. And I'm like, oh man, how do I possibly get this thing out? Because there's like a tree and then there's a fence and yeah. But I did not hit anything on my way out, so that's a win.
That's good. Ugh.
Yeah, streaming also kind of blurs the line between TV and movie. Like it used to be, where it's like, go to the movie versus TV, it's like very distinct.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
all
they're
just
not like...
one thing.
Yeah. It's still like distinct in, that you can go to the theater and have like that experience, but if I say I'm going to go see a movie, it could just be likely that I'm just going to see a movie at home. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, very true.
We watched a movie in Madeline's classroom.
Just you and her.
Yeah, just the things you do to try and like watch a grown-up movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had Aunt Pauline babysit. We went. That's like where we watched the movie.
Oh.
And it was not super comfortable in like the little plastic chairs.
Oh.
It was kind of charming. We could do it again sometime.
Just bring like a inflatable mattress or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sit on.
Well, because
Pillows and blankets.
it's
Yeah,
why I only
just
get to
lay out
watch one
like
horror.
a blanket on the floor.
Yeah, or like some bean bags. Actually, that'd be sweet.
Just
Yeah.
haul some bean bags up there.
All the way up.
Or get her to get some to just have in the
Yeah,
classroom.
Madeline.
Ooh.
That's really the real reason.
Yeah.
Furnish your
Yeah.
classroom with like some comfy seating
And
and
then-
say it's for the kids, but really it's
and
for
then
us when we have
It's
our
the reading corner.
yeah. It's when we have
Then
our
it gets
movie night.
peed on or something. I feel like
I don't think they're
At
that
some-
young.
I think at some point all bean bags get peed on.
I hope the one at your
I've
apartment.
never came across a bean bag that didn't get
What?
peed on.
I hope the one at your
Every single
apartment.
one.
Yeah, in your math classroom, get some cool math seats, but that are secretly movie watching seats for us.
Yeah, put some
Math seats.
math fabric on
Yeah.
it.
They're like, this is the math bean bag. Please don't pee on it, kids. Please don't pee on it, sixth
It
graders.
says
Oh
a
my
note on there that says "Do not pee." No pee allowed.
Yeah, well they'll be like, Mrs. Toby, I brought my 3 kittens and they all peed on it. Yeah, I hope you guys like took that. Wait, just Jason doesn't still have that beanbag, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Did he take it to like a
I don't know what he
like
did
an
with this,
incinerator
but they don't
somewhere,
have
like
it
a
anymore.
like take it to
I-
Nevada where they keep the chemical waste,
Yes.
Yeah,
like in the
they
mountains.
Bury it in the mountains.
Yeah.
Like the nuclear waste.
And they're like, this beanbag will come back to haunt our children. We should launch it into space.
Yeah, get a bean bag, and they have to guess how many beans are in it.
Whatever, they could.
And at the
Yeah.
end of the year, you like slice it open.
They
and
can just
Yeah.
sit in it when they
come
get
out.
when they get stuff right. It's not hard.
Whoever gets it right gets a fun-sized Snicker bar.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have. They'll be like, "What's that beanbag for?" And you're like, "I don't know. It's just in the class because it's." You don't even have to give them a
Nobody's
reason.
allowed to touch it.
Yeah. And it's secretly our movie watching beanbag. But yeah, that's why I only get one horror movie a year, because
Has
you get to
be
the
in
point where you're like, I can't watch this movie with my kids in the house, in the room. So you have to like,
Or you
especially if
can-
it's like something. I mean, we watched some like, little Madeline was getting like, she was getting like fairly with it
Uh-huh.
when we watched like a couple scary things. And finally, we were like, we should stop. Okay. We gotta go.
It's been great. Thanks for being on the
It's
chat.
fun.
Yeah.
Fun time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
This has been special guest star Eliza, houseplant specialist,
Yes. Short chef.
short chef, sinister short chef. The heck are these emojis?
Bye. Good night.
Emoticons.
Luggage and bean emojis.
Travel.
Emoticons, as they're rightfully called. Oh my god.